Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we are going to react to Colin Cowherd's comments about your Seattle Seahawks, as the Fox Sports host had some glowing words to say about the Hawks entering 2025, both on his radio show, on FS1, as well as a recent interview with Seattle Sports. We'll get you his comments, we'll tell you what he had to say, and share our thoughts coming up in just a bit. Before we do, folks, want to make sure you're subscribed to Seattle Seahawks Today, as we are growing rapidly here on the channel. It has been a fantastic offseason, and we are less than 250 subs away from reaching 67,500 subscribers here on the channel for daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. Live shows each and every Monday and Wednesday, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, at-home videos like you're seeing right here, where I'm away visiting family, taking care of some family business here. We're still bringing you content. So as a thank you to us, if you can hit that sub button, that's the best thing you can absolutely do. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV, and we'll get started with today's show. So Colin Cowherd, the Pacific Northwest native, had some very kind words to say about the Seattle Seahawks. And what's fascinating for me, too, is that whether you love or hate Colin, he has, when it comes to the Hawks over the years, I think he's been an honest broker. He's told you when things are good. He's told you when things are bad. And he doesn't just hand out compliments just to be nice. When he says something like this, he means what he says. So I think that's important as we dive into his commentary on where this Seahawks team stands heading into 2025. Let's start with what he had to say on the Herd this week on FS1. He predicted the Seahawks will reach the playoffs as a wild card team this season. Did not pick them to win the division, but said they would be in the wild card. And I think, as much as we would love to see the Hawks win the division, that's obviously the ultimate goal, I think all of us would be pretty happy if this team just found a way in the postseason, even as a wild card team. So that's good to hear. But then he took things a step further as he was on Brock and Salk's show on Seattle Sports this week. And he said the Seahawks could win multiple playoff games. He labeled Seattle as one of 4 teams in the NFC that are capable of achieving this feat. Here's what Colin said specifically. I think Seattle is capable of winning multiple playoff games. I think Seattle can do it. The Rams can do it. Philly can do it. Detroit can do it. And that's about it in the NFC. He went on to say, I also think part of life is not just you ascending, it's somebody else descending. I think the Niners have peaked. I said it 2 years ago. They're too old, brittle, and expensive. So let's start with that. We got more to get to from Colin here in just a moment, but let's dissect that first piece. So he says that Seattle is a playoff team. And when Mike McDonald took this job, the thing that I told you was that this was a 2-year project that Mike McDonald was taking on. That year one, the goal was to kind of clean up things, to get this group on track for the future, to be a 9-10 win football team, but have everything kind of laid out to push forward from there. And even though Seattle missed the playoffs in 2024, there were steps in the right direction. Winning 10 games, which they hadn't done in quite some time. They were the co-division champions of the NFC West, with the tiebreaker going to the LA Rams. All of that was good. But then year 2 for Mike McDonald was about turning this team into a legit threat, a contending team in the NFC. And if you're in a position where we're talking about Seattle being able to win multiple playoff games, then you're being a contending team. Then you're taking that next step forward. And so what Colin is saying is back to the plan that I laid out for Mike McDonald when he was hired of that 2-step process. And if Colin is right, then Mike McDonald is following along on this plan and that his timeline is going accordingly, if that's the case. But that's still a big if there. Now, we'll get into more of what Colin had to say and talk about that here in just a moment. But I want to hear from you guys, our pinned comment today. Do you agree with Colin Cowherd that the Seattle Seahawks can win multiple playoff games in the 25 through 26 season? You got two options here. Type white for yes, in for no. Weigh in, tell me what you think. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let us know. White for yes, in for no. Do you agree with Cowherd that the Seahawks can win multiple playoff games? Tell me in the comment section below. So, let's go over more of what Colin had to say. On the herd, Cowherd said he thinks the Seahawks had the best draft of any team in the NFL. And I gave it an A grade. I really liked this draft from top to bottom. You filled positions of need. You didn't reach for guys. You found real talent. Cowherd said that he likes the defense. He views free agent signee Sam Darnold as a B-plus quarterback who's capable of winning playoff games. Now, on that notion, I think a B-plus quarterback for Sam Darnold is pretty fair. Is Sam Darnold an elite top 5 quarterback? Absolutely not. He's got one good year of really good tape. Now, there could be more good years of that down the line, but at least right now, I think saying he's a B-plus quarterback is more than fair when it comes to Darnold. And not to mention, in Seattle's vantage point, they're not paying a ton of money for a player of his caliber. He's younger and he's more talented than Geno Smith is as well. So both those things are very good. So, yeah, you can live with having a B-plus quarterback that you signed off the street, for crying out loud. More from Cowherd. He said that he likes that Seattle addressed its most glaring need by drafting offensive lineman Gray Zabel in the first round. Gray Zabel, we have every reason to think that he's going to be a starter immediately for this Seahawks team, lining up likely at that left guard spot. I think he was the best interior offensive lineman in this draft. It was a home run pick. And I know there's some people that were saying going in the draft that Seattle wanted to trade down but still get Zabel. They didn't get an offer they liked, and they still got the player they wanted. I think that worked out okay. And it was an unconventional draft for John Schneider, right? Picking an interior offensive lineman high, drafting a quarterback, trading up for a player in Eamon Ward. He took some gambles. He got out of his comfort zone, and I think this is going to pay off nicely. More from Cowherd, talking about John Schneider. He said that John Schneider's personnel decisions, that he trusts those, and agreed with the move to trade away star wide receiver DK Metcalf. I just like their personnel, Cowherd said. The O-line needs to get better, no question. But they addressed that with their first pick. So I think you get a rookie coach in his second year. You get more personnel that fits that rookie coach. And I just trust John's picks and personnel decisions. I would have moved off DK Metcalf. I liked the move. So I just like what I see. I like Seattle this year a lot, said Cowherd. The DK trade, you know, it was tough. I always liked DK Metcalf. I thought he brought a lot to this Seahawks team. But you saved a lot of money. You got a second-round draft pick out of it. And your receiving core is still fine with JSN and Cooper Kupp and all those guys. So you came out of it about as good as you realistically could have. And to think, too, we said it on this show. You weren't going to get a first-round pick. They were trying to get a first-round pick, but they weren't going to get that. You got what you could, and I think you can live with that, especially for a guy that didn't want to be there, that requested a trade in DK Metcalf. That's fine. Now, we mentioned that Cowherd has Seattle going to the wild card, not winning the division. Cowherd predicted the LA Rams would beat out the Seahawks for the NFC West crown again. The Rams won the division title by virtue of that tiebreaker last year over Seattle. Cowherd said the Rams check off 4 or 5 boxes he's looking for when trying to identify elite teams. An elite head coach in Sean McVay, an elite quarterback in Matthew Stafford, an elite offensive weapon in Puka Nacua, an elite defensive lineman in Jared Verse. The only box he doesn't think they check off is an elite left tackle. He said it the 5 key positions. 4 of the 5, the Rams are elite. I don't think Seattle's in that class. And that's a fair assessment. I think that the Rams are very good. I think when I look at this division right now, the Niners have taken a significant step back. I don't trust the Arizona Cardinals. Going into 2025, we pick up from where we left off last year. It's the Rams and it's the Seahawks competing for this division title. And I think Seattle's a better team now than what they were at the end of last season. And that defense is going to be lethal. And this team's going to be led by their defense, which is something we have not said in quite some time. Do you believe that the Seattle Seahawks are a better team right now than they were last year? You got 2 options here. Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in the comment section. Tell me what you think. All in all, I think what Cowherd said was very fair from top to bottom when breaking down this team, the personnel that's there, the changes that have been made, the draft picks, and how they compare with the LA Rams. Remember, it's Seattle that has something to prove here. The Rams are the ones that went to the playoffs and won a playoff game. And of all the teams that faced the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, they gave them the toughest fight of any team in this postseason this year, was the LA Rams. That is still the team to beat. You have to go through them first. Now, can Seattle beat them? Potentially. But we need to see it come to fruition first. And that's the assignment ahead for Seattle is get in the postseason and get past the LA Rams. And I think this team is in position to shock some people that they could go toe-to-toe with the LA Rams and maybe even surprise Cowherd as far as that goes. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV for daily coverage you won't find anywhere else. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.